At some point today, you caught your own reflection. In a mirror, a shop window, the dark screen of your phone just before it lit up. You have seen that face your whole life. But hold it for a moment, because there is a question hiding behind it. One you have probably asked yourself at 2 in the morning, and then let go because it felt too big to hold. Out of every person who could have existed, every possible combination of every possible human being, why did it turn out to be you? What were the actual odds of that? Your first instinct is probably something like a lottery. 1 in a million, 1 in 100 million if you are feeling dramatic. And that is the answer almost everyone carries around, until they look at the arithmetic. Because the real number is not rare. The real number is so large that calling it a lottery is almost an insult to it. Start with a single night. The night you were conceived, somewhere around 250 million sperm cells set out at once. And every single one of them carried a blueprint of a different possible person. Different face, different temperament, different life. One of them became you. If a different one had arrived first, and it nearly did, 250 million times over, your mother still has a child. Same due date, same crib, maybe even the same name, but that child is not you. That child is a sibling you never got to meet, standing at the same mirror asking the same question. 250 million versions of that night, and only one of them is you. And yet, that night is still the least improbable part of your entire story. Because there was another half of you, and it had been waiting for decades. Your mother was born with every egg she would ever have, around 1 million of them, already formed, resting in a body that was itself only hours old. Over her whole life, only 300 or 400 would ever be released. The one that became you sat in the dark for 20, 30, maybe 40 years, through her childhood fevers and her teenage summers, waiting for one particular moment. And here is a detail that sounds invented, but is not. That egg formed while your mother was still a fetus, inside your grandmother's body. Which means half of you, the exact half, once floated inside a woman who may have died before you were born. 3 generations, nested like wooden dolls, long before you were born. And all of it came down to a matter of minutes. If dinner had run long that night, if someone had called, if your father had stayed out for one more conversation, or come home tired, or come home early, a different sperm reaches a different egg. You were not decided by fate, you were decided by minutes. But push one step back, and it gets worse, because before any of that biology could happen, 2 specific people had to find each other on a planet of billions. A doctor named Ali Benazir once tried to put honest numbers on this. How many people of the right age does your father realistically meet in his lifetime? What are the chances your mother is one of them? He worked it out to roughly 1 in 20,000, just for the meeting. Then they have to talk. Then the talking has to become something. Then it has to hold, through every argument and every doubt, all the way to one particular night. Think about how your own parents actually met. A party one of them almost skipped. A shared shift. A friend of a friend. A train that ran late. Somewhere in that story, there is a coin flip you have heard 100 times. And I almost stayed home. And every time they tell it, they laugh. They laugh because they made it. You live inside that laugh. Benazir multiplied it all out, just up to the right sperm meeting the right egg, and landed on odds around 1 in 400 quadrillion. That is your parents alone. That is 2 links in the chain. You needed all 4 of your grandparents to meet in the same improbable way. 8 great-grandparents before them, 16 before that. Go back just 10 generations, around 250 years, and more than 1,000 people had to meet, pair off, and live long enough to have exactly the child they had. Not one of them is optional. Remove a single stranger from the 1600s and you vanish without a sound. Historians who piece together old parish records put it plainly. For most of human history, roughly half of all children died before they grew up. Every direct ancestor of yours made it through. Somewhere in your line, there is a girl in 1348. Coughing through the winter, the Black Death took a third of Europe, and she lived. There is a man who walked away from a battlefield, a baby who survived a famine winter on almost nothing, a family that boarded one ship instead of another. None of them knew they were carrying you. Keep going, and the line does not stop at people. It runs back through small, shivering mammals, keeping out of the way of dinosaurs, through fish hauling themselves onto the mud, all the way down to a single cell in a warm ocean 4 billion years ago. That thread, parent to child, cell to cell, has never broken, not once in 4 billion years. So what happens when you multiply all of it together? Benazir did, and the result is the kind of number that stops meaning anything. 1 chance in 10 to the power of 2,685,000. Written out, that is a 1 followed by 2,685,000 zeros. Print those zeros in an ordinary book, just zeros, page after page, and the book runs close to 1,000 pages. For comparison, the number of atoms in the observable universe is a 1 followed by roughly 80 zeros. 80. Your existence out-improbables the entire inventory of the cosmos by a margin the human brain simply cannot picture. But here is where you have to pause, because there is a catch inside numbers like that. Take an ordinary deck of 52 cards and shuffle it well. The order sitting in your hands has almost certainly never existed before, not in any casino, on any kitchen table, at any point in human history. The odds against that exact order are about 1 in an 8 followed by 67 zeros. And yet there it is, in your hands, entirely unremarkable. Improbable things happen constantly. Something had to come up. So is the miracle of you just bad math? Not quite. The shuffle does teach you something real. Looking backwards at what already happened, any specific outcome seems impossible. But something always comes up. If someone else had been born instead of you, nobody would have missed you. There would be no gap in the world shaped like you. Someone else would simply be standing at the mirror, asking the same question, why me? The chance that somebody would be born was close to certain. The chance that it would be you was close to 0. Both of those are true at once. But here is what the deck of cards cannot do. A shuffle does not know that it happened. You do. Out of all those numbers, all those ancestors who barely made it, and trains that ran late, the universe assembled something that opens its eyes in the morning and asks questions. The miracle was never the odds. The miracle is that someone notices them. So tonight, when you catch that reflection again, hold it 1 second longer. Behind that face is a long line of faces, through candlelit rooms, muddy roads, and warm oceans. Every one of them survived, often without knowing how. You did not earn your place at the end of that line. Nobody did. That is not how it works. But you are here. The thread that never broke in 4 billion years is right now inside you. Tomorrow, you will forget most of this. You will stand in a queue, check your phone, worry about small things. That is fine. That is how something that happened against all odds lives its life. Once, out of everything that could have been, and it happened to be you.